What is up, Rad Potential YouTube? Welcome to another Radformational segment in the Rad Garage with rotary stuff.
A lot of rad there.
My buddy Jacob's here doing some welding and just hanging out. We're staying 6 feet apart though. So, we're going to talk about 1979 and 1980 12A rat's nest stuff. So I wanted to try to show you all this before I did the delete so you can see how everything works. So basically here is everything with the carburetor off, and you can see what all you have to connect. I am missing a line, but this little nipple way down here, the bigger one, down there at the bottom, you can kind of see right there, connects to here. This goes to your air cleaner, and this goes to your air cleaner. This piece here, there's a little vacuum chamber on the side of the carburetor here that connects to. This one goes to your fuel tank vent, and then everything else is basically, these are your two crankcase vents. These two pins here go to your distributor vacuum advance. This goes to the back of the carburetor. This big rod goes to the top of your air cleaner, so there's a line that comes off the top of your air cleaner that goes to here. All of your ones that come off your spacer plate basically go in order through there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the fifth one is on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and stick the carburetor on here. We'll kind of show you what goes on once this complicates everything. So, carburetor's now on. Good enough. I'm going to show you where everything kind of hooks up to. So, this one goes up to your air cleaner. This barb here on the carburetor is the one from the intake manifold right here. Okay, it has like your PCV valve in it there. Goes to the big one on the bottom of the carburetor. These three brass fittings on the back, you can see there, and there. The outer ones are your O&P lines, basically here and here. The center one is for your cold start assist. Now the cold start assist is basically like an extra wiper fluid bottle that's in the corner, and it has this alcohol oil-based substance that squirts in the carburetor to basically like bump compression or help you start it when the car is cold, hence the cold start assist. That big line I showed you earlier, this is where that goes, right there. And again, these two go up to the intake manifold. This piece here, there would be a little canister here, which I'll walk out to the 79 to show you, the OEM one, to show you where that goes. Also, there is a solenoid over here that would mount, and I went and checked on the 79, but it's actually just venting to atmosphere. So this right here goes to that solenoid, so you'll just cap this off whenever you do the vacuum, the rat's nest delete. So I'm going to go ahead and show you, okay, real quick, these two on the air cleaner. The brass fitting goes to the smaller nipple there with the nice shiny silicone hose. That big nipple sticking off the top of that actuated valve goes to the blue line here on the bottom of your intake air cleaner. This big one goes to your air pump, and that one right there recirculates to the fitting that goes on here. So that's how all that works. Now, for the vacuum delete, you're going to take your carburetor off, sit over here for now, and you're going to have basically no rat's nest. So you can see this whole deal. This is the rat's nest. Will go away. You throw that in the dumpster. You won't need it. Now, all four of these lines right here, you will cap every single one of them. You'll cap this bottom one down here, the big bottom one. You'll still need your O&P lines. You can cap one of these, but you need to leave one vented to atmosphere somewhere to vent all your crankcase pressure. You could run an overflow catch can if you want. If you don't see a ton of RPM, you probably won't ever see oil come out of this. So you could just leave it hanging out right there. This big line right here is capped from the factory, and then this one will go back on the carburetor here. This piece right here will get capped as well. Now, on the carburetor, the things you need to cap and be aware of that'll go away, basically it's mostly on this side. So you can delete the canister over here and the little vacuum solenoid on this side. This line right here will get capped. This line right here goes to the lower intake manifold, the PCV. If you're not running your cold start assist, which I doubt any of you are, you can cap the center one. Your O&P lines go here. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. These carburetors are super simple to do the vacuum delete, and as you can see, once this guy sits down on here, without all the junk in the way, you know, this is a much simpler setup. So, like I said, this piece here will still hook up into that one, and all these little lines will be gone. Some people will epoxy fill the holes on your spacer plate, and some people will also cut off this big shield. I would highly recommend not cutting the shield off, as this does help with keeping your carburetor cool, so you don't boil the gas in your carburetor whenever you are you know, sitting in traffic or something. So that's kind of your simplified setup of what it would look like. And as usual, comment below with any questions. I can do my best to answer them. So this car out here is a bone stock, all original 1979. That's never been touched. I've never had anything off of this. So you can see basically just by looking, that one big line here that was coming off your intake manifold goes to this recirculation pipe for the thermal reactor. This is that line that came off of here. There's a solenoid right up under here. You can kind of see there, and that's just capped at the end. If you look, the nipple's capped off. I think that might have been for cruise control of sorts. This is your top line into that big metal bar to the air pump here, and then kind of going around the other side, show you all this other stuff that's going on over here. So here you can see the two for the distributor, vacuum advance. Same thing there, all your vacuum solenoids plugged in. That one's recirculating there, all the stuff down the bottom. I know it's kind of a mess and hard to see, especially with my shadows and stuff, but that's that canister that I don't have on that other carburetor. When you do the vacuum delete, you can take that off. That's where it goes. And then your fuel tank vent. I ran my silver RX7 with the fuel tank vent capped off, and you would just occasionally get like a when you open the tank. No major big deal. You could run it just to like a catch can or something, if you do have a catch can for your oil crankcase pressure, but it's kind of up to you, or just leave it open if you don't mind smelling fuel. But basically, when we stab this in the car, this is what this is going to look like. A key thing to not forget on your Nicky carburetor, and I'll make a video specifically on this T-handle right here, if you don't have this hooked up, if it's popped off, this is what activates your secondaries. So some carburetor rebuild guys, if they forget to hook this back up, or if it pops off, you know, as things are moving, it comes off pretty easy. And you're wondering why your car's slow? It's because this isn't on there.
Because it's a first gen.
And because it's a first gen. Hey, but 100 horsepower is fun most days. So that's your basic rat's nest delete, rat's nest removal. I'll put a couple pictures of the carburetor with all the caps on it here before we put it in the car after this, but thanks for watching. Keep it rad.